Welcome back to another video on F1 to Sports, and today I got a special video. Uh, Jake Gray uh, from the independent circuit wrestler sad matches with Hammer Tunis, TJ Crawford had some fun matches I've seen on YouTube. So, and today I'm gonna be interviewing him. So first off, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty simple day. Went to the gym, got food, and now I'm doing the interview.
That's good. That's good. So my first question for you is, what inspired you to be a wrestler?
I don't know. When I would do the backyard stuff with my siblings and stuff, I was always I don't know, maybe I was kind of good, and I was like, what's the worst that can happen if I try out for training? So I was planning on doing Nepois in Massachusetts, but then literally the Bio Beyond School opened up like a month after I got my license. I was like, all right, well, this is perfect. So I messaged Drew. I was like, hey, I'm 17. I don't know if you guys let people under 18 train. I have my own car. I would love to come train. He's like, yeah, of course. Um, Started training with Ken Doan and Thomas Santel, and the rest is history, I guess.
For sure, that's dope. And if I'm not mistaken, you started wrestling last year, right?
Yes, I made my in-ring debut February 2024.
That's dope. That's dope. My second question is, how do you prepare mentally for a big match?
Big match, mentally. I usually eat like very very good that day. Like like I usually try to always eat before my matches. Which I know a lot of people don't. I'm someone that if I don't eat before my match, I know I'm gonna have a hard time in it. That's like usually my go-to. So I eat a bunch before my matches. I would say probably my biggest match I've had so far was probably the Drew Gulak one, and that one I didn't learn about until like less than 10 hours before I had it. So I didn't really have time to really prepare for that one. Um, but usually for big matches, it's I eat very well. I go over the match like a bunch. Like I'll call it back to myself a lot. Talk to other people, like call it back to them. Um, that's usually my routine for like I would say massive matches.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Could you describe what that training is like on a day to day basis?
Training.
Yeah.
So BioPro usually we train every Tuesday and Wednesday. Um, Ring gets set up at two. I don't usually around 6 o'clock. We do warm ups for about like 30 minutes, like cardio, push ups, squats, etc. And then practice our rolls, practice like simple bumps, like arm drags, tackles, and then usually the more advanced people will start going over like drills, and then the non-advanced people will go do stuff. Um, and that's usually a simple BioPro class. It's a lot of repetition, a lot of like practicing our basics, a bunch block ups, arm drags, hip tosses, etc.
Okay. Is your training long or does it flow?
It's long. We train from 6 to 10, so 4 hours. But time flies by for me because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. The saying, "Time flies when you're having fun," is true.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you're having fun with it, time will definitely fly.
Absolutely.
What's been what's been your most challenging match so far, and how did you overcome it?
A challenging match. Hmm. I'd say the Gulak one was pretty tough for me because, like I said, I had less than 10 hours to prepare for that one because his original opponent called out and I was the substitute. Um, but I knew Gulak was a professional. I knew Gulak was I'd done seminars and training with Gulak before. Um, but I would say probably my most difficult match. I'm very lucky that a lot of the people I've wrestled are extremely talented, extremely like incredible wrestlers. I'm very lucky that I get to have the best of the best, basically, from getting to wrestle in Beyond Wrestling. Um, I would say probably the most difficult match for me personally, just like mentally wise, like getting myself prepared for it, was the Gulak match.
So you feel like you have a lot of good chemistry with most of the guys getting wrestled?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I said, I think Beyond Wrestling, we're the I feel comfortable saying that they are the best indie company in New England. They we the best come to wrestle for Beyond Wrestling. So I'm extremely lucky and extremely almost like I'm extremely lucky that I get the opportunity to wrestle some of the best in New England in Beyond Wrestling as a result of just the type of wrestlers that Beyond likes to use.
Okay, that's great. Have you had any major injuries so far in your career?
Ugh. Nothing that stopped me from wrestling, which probably I shouldn't say, but there was a point in time where I fractured my ankle. It kind of put me on the shelf. I went ahead and I did my 2 bookings that I still had at the time, but that kind of slowed me down a little bit. Um, but nothing major. I wouldn't say I've had to like take like a month or 2 off of wrestling because of an injury.
Okay, that's good. And it's probably hard to call off when you already had that match, even with the injury, because you just want to go through with it. And you've already
Exactly.
dedicated to training and stuff. Uh, my next question is, what do you think sets you apart from other wrestlers?
Hmm. I think physically, I'm a lot smaller than most wrestlers. I wouldn't call myself in shape, to be entirely honest. I've got I if you go back to when I first started training at BioPro, I've actually absolutely changed my body and I've improved, but I wouldn't say that, you know, I'm a super fit guy and I'm super strong and stuff. I think physically, I'm a lot smaller. I'm a lot faster than I would say some people. Some people in the wrestling are so fast though. I would say also probably my character. The handyman was something that came out of nowhere. That was a joke idea that got thrown at me by Drew Cordero. And at the time, I was like, I gotta, because I wanted to, be generic indie wrestler, throw knees, super kicks, etc. I was like, I can't do this because like usually those guys look good, and I didn't look good. Um, so I was like, I need something special, something to set me apart. And the handyman came along. And it was like, there's something to this. I feel like this is something that if I put my full energy and time into, I think I can make it work. And I personally believe that I think I made the handyman work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't say, like I said earlier, I done seen your matches on YouTube and the handyman gimmick. It really works because it's not something that you see anybody else doing. Like there's a lot of different gimmicks that have been stolen throughout wrestling, but that's not something that you just really see on a day to day basis. And like I said, you can have some good matches, and that character is really great.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And then if it's any aspiring wrestlers or people that want to be wrestlers in the future that's watching this video, what advice would you give them?
Give it a shot. Wrestling is it genuinely one of the most opening communities of all time. There's so many different people that come to wrestling. Wrestling's not for everybody though. I think being a wrestling fan is for everybody. I absolutely believe that everybody can be a wrestling fan. I don't I don't think maybe wrestling's for everyone, but it's if you think wrestling's for you, give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? Even to get to step in the ring once is an experience that I wish some people could get to experience. Like it's an honor that I get to do it as often as I do, and I get to do it like at a level like at the level that I get to do it at. Like it is a extreme honor that I am so proud to be able to say I can do it. But I would say to anyone who wants to become a wrestler, give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? I went in thinking I'm not gonna make it. I'm too skinny. I'm not in shape. I'm not gonna make it. Maybe I can be a commentator, referee, etc. And then I was the third ever graduate from BioPro. So, like I said, if you want to be a professional wrestler, give it a shot. What's the worst? that can happen.
That's some great advice. I'm gonna stick to being a wrestling fan and broadcasting. But I respect everything the wrestlers do, and that y'all have to put y'all bodies on the line on a consistent basis. But my last question is: looking at the landscape, like a bigger promotions like WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan, which one of those companies intrigues you the most?
Influences me the most, or like
Intrigues you the most? Like you would be most intrigued in working for one of those companies?
I'll be honest. I'm a big Japan fan. It would be incredible to get to do something for New Japan. That would be like an honor. Like like middle school, instead of like doing my math homework or while I'm in school, I would have my iPad and I was watching Kenny Omega versus Okada, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Osprey, etc. Like I was a massive New Japan fan, so to get to wrestle for New Japan would be like an honor. AEW would be awesome. Like I remember being in middle school when the first AEW event got announced and like all that stuff. Like I as AEW went on is when I started going to high school. So like by the time I graduated high school, like AEW was like in its 5th year. It's like I kind of got to grow with the company, which is kind of cool. It would be an honor to wrestle for them. Obviously, WWE is what got me into wrestling. It would be incredible to do stuff for them. But I love indie wrestling. I love Beyond Wrestling. I love all the indies. I kind of I wouldn't say that if I got an opportunity to go to like WWE, TNA, AEW, I would say no. But I definitely think my heart in wrestling is in the indies. Like I love this, and if I only was an indie wrestler, I think that would be fine with me because the indies are pretty fucking awesome. Sorry for swearing.
That's fine, but that's great, and I hope you become one of the biggest wrestlers and everybody knows your name, and even you could hopefully you do get that opportunity to work for New Japan, something that you were really into. Like that's cool. Thank you for doing this interview. For the people watching, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, and then check out Jake Gray, his matches on the independent circuit on YouTube. Really dope wrestler. Once again, thank you.
Of course, appreciate that, man. Thank you for interviewing me.